Hello everyone, I'm Samidha Hegde. I'm interning with LEXIS and Company. I'm a third year law student studying in Rame College of Law, Bangalore, and today I'm going to be discussing about vested and contingent interest under Transfer of Property Act 1882. Now before I explain you what is vested and contingent interest, I hope so we have seen that under Transfer of Property Act, whenever transfer takes place, so essentially a bundle of rights is getting transferred. Now, when I say that transfer is absolute, an absolute right is being transferred. It means that there is complete transfer of ownership. However, if I say that, for example, in case of a sale, when something is being sold, in those cases, there is a complete transfer, absolute transfer. So, an absolute ownership is being transferred in that case. Then there are certain cases in which only a set of rights are being transferred, and that is transfer of an interest. Now, it usually contains a few rights. For example, if I say that there is a transfer of interest, it could be right to possession or a right to use the property. However, it does not mean that I have the ownership of the property. So that is the difference between absolute owner of absolute interest and um, transfer of an interest. So always remember this difference between absolute transfer of absolute interest and transfer of interest. This is something that will be discussed throughout Transfer of Property Act. Now, transfer of an interest you've seen in cases like mortgage. In case of mortgage, only there is a transfer of interest and there is no complete transfer of ownership. Now that we've understood this, I think we can understand what is vested and contingent interest. So basically, what is vested interest is that, so if I put let's say I'm the transferor and I put a condition for transfer, and if that condition is something that is certain, that is something that will definitely take place. For example, I say that I will transfer a certain property to B, Mr. B, upon the death of C. Now we know that at some point C will die. So this is an event that is certain to happen. So here there is a certain specified event that is definitely going to happen. So in this case, if I transfer a property, that will create a vested interest. So, and contingent interest is when you put a condition for transfer of the property, but the condition is such that it may or may not happen. Now, for example, if I say that if I will transfer this property to you if B marries C. Now, if B actually marries C, then you will get the property. However, if B does not marry C, then you won't get the property. So here it is contingent upon that event happening, some event happening. So this is the difference between vested and contingent interest. So let's understand quickly what are the characteristics of vested and contingent interest. The vested interest does not depend upon an uncertain event. Like I told you, it depends on a certain event. It is very sure that that event is going to occur at some point of time. So it does not depend on an uncertain event, so that is the first characteristic. Then it creates an immediate or present right. It means that, so when I say that this transfer will take place upon this condition, so here I am creating an absolute right which takes effect immediately. For example, if I say that this property will get transferred to is transferred to D, and D is an unborn person, let's say. So, and as soon as D is born, so once D is born, the D will immediately get vested interest in the property. So there is an immediate or present right. Even if the right to enjoyment of the property may be delayed, let's say that, even if I say that, for example, if I say that I transfer the property to B, and create a life interest, and say that when D is born, this property will D will be the absolute owner of the property. So even if D is born, as since B is alive, B has right possession over the property until his death. But D is the owner of the property as soon as he is born. So it creates an immediate vested interest in D, even if he does not immediately have right to possession or right to enjoy the property immediately. Then we have vested interest is both transferable and a heritable right. Just like I explained to you in my previous example, it is heritable, like I explained you through the example of an unborn child. So it is both, it can be transferred also, and it is heritable. Now we'll understand what are the characteristics of contingent interest. So by comparing these two, you can understand the difference better. So the condition should be that the condition should be uncertain. On the meeting of such condition, the contingent interest will become vested interest. So like I told you, contingent interest is something that is dependent upon happening of a uncertain event, and if that event happens, then the contingent interest turns into a vested interest, because at that time the event has happened and you get complete and immediate right over that property. And if the transferee dies before receiving interest in the property, the contingent interest will be missed and the transferor will remain the owner of the property. Now let's say Mr. A is the transferor of property and B is the transferee, and so Mr. A put some condition, some uncertain event that is to happen, and what happens is Mr. A dies before that event even takes place. So here there is no transfer of property since Mr. B died before that. So it might pass down to his heirs or something, whatever legally it is supposed to pass down to. But here, since Mr. A died, so the transfer becomes void. But in case of vested interest, even if the person dies, the transfer will still take place. The transfer does not become void. And contingent interest is also a transferable right. That is, it can be transferred. So these are the. I hope you understood what are the difference between contingent and vested interest today. This is an important topic. I hope you understood it. And I've also made other videos. Do check them out, and please like, share and subscribe to the channel and press the notification button for more updates. Thank you.